All right. So this week for my presentation, I wanted to keep it simple as well. This feature I'm going to go over is going to be our export and import feature. Kind of like the DF function feature, it's a little hidden if you're a new user to Particleworks and you don't really use it very often. But as I've been using it, or as I've been working with support tickets over the past couple of years, I found that this feature has been really, really helpful for me, and it's probably actually one of the best tools I could use for support items. So just a little bit of background on it. The primary function of this feature is to zip up project scenes and files, and what we can basically do is share these files from computer to computer. So let's say you're working on a project and your colleague, and you want to share your model setup and everything with your colleague. You can zip up your scene folder or your scene and all your information, and basically give that zip file over to your colleague, and your colleague can open it on his or her computer. So as you're working through it, the export feature allows you to hide confidential information such as like geometries and models. So you won't be sending out confidential information if it's something that it's really important that you're working on. And again, it's really, this is a tool really easy for transferring files. So the way that we do that in Particleworks is we click on our desired project that we want to share or send over. This is going to be found in our projects tab, and we'll select the export zip feature. And end users can select logs, model, and then if you have multiple scenes in your project, you can pick and choose which scene you want to share. By default, the distance function, pre-processed results, our results, and any other post-processing files, those aren't selected. Generally, I think my rule of thumb is to not select any kind of results in your simulation, just because those files can be too large to transfer, and it becomes kind of a pain to do that. The only time I would recommend to select your results if it's a really, really small like tutorial model or something like that, where there's not a lot of geometry or results written out. And then two, also just kind of a preference on my end is I like to rename some of these files as needed. Otherwise, I'll come up with scene 1, scene 1.1 or something like that, and it doesn't make sense to me. So as I'm working through multiple export import projects, I rename them as needed. And here's just an example of the actual layout. So in the projects tab, I've selected which scene I want to export. I'll click on my export function, and when you do that, this little dialog box will come up. In this example, I have multiple scenes I was doing some testing on, and I wanted to select the second scene here. So I was able to click that and unselect everything else, and from here I'll be able to click OK and zip up my project. And then once you have your project zipped up and you send it over to somebody, you can import that project. And the way to do that is in Particleworks. For those that are familiar with Particleworks, if you click on your menu bar, if you choose File, Import, and then Import Zip, what we'll do is a dialog box similar to the export dialog box will open. You'll see you can go to your folder where you've saved that zip file. You can see that zip file. You can click it, and then again you can enter a new name for the project if you're wanting to kind of keep bookkeeping information clear and straight. One of the things that I don't really use frequently or ever is unzipping the function, or excuse me, unzipping the zip file with command lines. Generally, this is used for those that don't have access to a GUI and they're just running from a command prompt. There is a couple of commands that can unpack the zipping and then execute the unpacked zip file. And those examples are here, and I didn't put it in here, but I'll revise my slides and share when I share them. This can be found in the Particleworks user manual as well. And then here is just again just another example of importing a project. You'll click on File, Import, and then select your PW zip, and then you'll click Open, and you'll be ready to go.